NATO member countries allows Ukraine to use F-16 jets to strike Russia.
US President Joe Biden's son faces criminal trial.
A young family with love for Giặm folk songs.
You're watching today's news on NTV channel. My name is Ha Zhang, your host. The Netherlands became the next NATO country to give green light to Ukraine to use F-16 fighter jets to attack Russian territory, despite Moscow's warning that this is a very serious security issue and could lead to catastrophic consequences.
In a recent statement, Dutch Minister of Defense Ollongren announced that Ukraine is allowed to use 24 F-16 fighter jets provided by the Netherlands for Kiev's purposes. The statement comes shortly after Danish Foreign Minister Rasmussen made a similar announcement. Greece also confirmed sending the first expert to instruct Ukraine on how to use the F-16 fighter jets. In response to these statements, Russian officials consider NATO countries allowing Ukraine to use F-16 fighter jets a very serious security issue for Russia. Therefore, if these aircraft appear in Ukrainian airspace, Russian forces will shoot them down. Russian President and Foreign Minister also warned that Moscow sees the Western F-16 in Ukraine as a deliberate signaling action by NATO in the nuclear field and that this could lead to dire consequences.
The federal court in Delaware has begun the criminal trial of Hunter Biden, the son of U.S. President Joe Biden, marking the first time an incumbent U.S. president's son has been criminally prosecuted.
Hunter Biden's trial takes place just 4 days after Donald Trump became the first former U.S. president to be criminally convicted. Trump is currently a rival of President Joe Biden in the upcoming U.S. presidential election in November. Both Trump and Hunter Biden's historic events could potentially cause disruptions to the 2024 White House race. Hunter Biden, the youngest and only surviving son of President Biden, is facing 3 felony charges related to the illegal possession of firearms while using drugs in 2018. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, if convicted on all charges in the Delaware trial, Hunter Biden could face up to 25 years in prison. This incident could pose a potential threat to Biden's re-election bid, with the presidential election to take place in less than 5 months.
On June the 4th, the 15th National Assembly commenced the question and answer activity following the agenda of its ongoing 7th session. The question and answer session will be broadcasted live on radio and television for people and voters across the country to follow.
In the 2.5-day question and answer session, deputies raised 7 issues related to the field under the responsibility of 4 ministers and heads of sectors in the fields of natural resources and environment, industry and trade, auditing, culture, sports and tourism. The heads of these 4 sectors will be responsible for answering the questions. They will be joined by deputy prime ministers in charge of the sectors, as well as relevant ministers and heads of sectors. The National Assembly will vote on a resolution on the activity at the end of the session, providing the basis for the implementation of agencies as well as the supervision of parliamentary bodies and parliamentary deputies.
Coming up next are some updated news.
In June 4th, the delegation of the Central Economic Commission has a working session with the Standing Committee of NA and Provincial Party Committee on the implementation of Resolutions 10, 11, 12 of the Central Executive Committee on Economics. According to the report, over the past 6 years, NA and Province has issued action programs and plans to implement resolutions, resulting in high economic growth. The GRDP scale is expanding. Investment attractions seen many positive changes and increase in terms of quantity, scale and project quality. The provincial business community is developing strongly. State budget revenue from the private sector accounts for 47% of the total provincial state budget. The Central Economic Commission appreciates the positive results of NEI and in implementing the resolutions as well as socio-economic development, while recognizing the proposals and recommendations of the province in the implementation of resolutions.
The Airports Corporation of Vietnam, ACV, has proposed that the Ministry of Transport to approve the project of renovating and repairing the runway and taxiway at Vinh International Airport. According to the inspection results, the current runway and taxiway at Vinh Airport have deteriorated, exceeding their design lifespan, affecting the safety of flight operations. The renovation and repair plan aimed to ensure safe, sustainable and long-term operations of the airport as well as to enhance its operational capacity. The estimated total investment for the project is 745 billion Vietnamese dongs. ACV has also proposed to close the airport for renovation after the 2025 Lunar New Year and to complete the construction before the peak summer holiday of the same year.
China's lunar probe Chang'e 6 has achieved unprecedented success in the history of lunar exploration by successfully collecting samples from the far side of the Moon, an area that no other country explored previously. According to the China National Space Administration, the Chang'e 6 has entered a pre-established orbit around the Moon and landed in the designated area on the far side. The spacecraft has rapidly completed sampling at various locations. These samples will then be transferred to a lander rocket on the spacecraft and returned to Earth via another spacecraft around June 25. If everything goes as planned, this will be the first time in history that humans obtain lunar soil and rocks from the far side of the Moon. This achievement also marks a significant leap in China's space program.
10 years since the Nghệ Tĩnh Giặm folk songs were honored by UNESCO as intangible cultural heritage of humanity, the preservation and transmission of Giặm folk songs have become one of the practical activities to preserve and promote the value of heritage, contributing to nurturing a deeper love for folk songs among the people, especially the young generation. More in the following story.
Although not being born in family with tradition of folk singing, Công Anh and Công Minh, two sons of Miss Nguyễn Thị Phương Lan in Kim Liên Commune, Nam Dan District, have made a strong impression on those who love Giặm. In a Giặm folk singing competition at school, Công Anh, a 7th grader, won the Promising Singing Voice Award and the Outstanding Young Performer Award. In 2024, Công Anh continued to leave his musical mark by participating in Vietnam's Got Talent for Kids, surpassing hundreds of contestants to reach the semi-finals. Meanwhile, Công Minh, at the age of 8, has touched people's heart with his rich and emotional Giặm singing voice while playing a role as Nguyễn Trình Cung during the days in Huế.
They have great passion for singing. Although they weren't born in a family without singing traditions, the parents and the children all have a great love for folk songs. The two children have exceptional Vietnam folk singing voices.
Not only two gifted children, but Lan and her husband also actively participated in the Giặm folk singing club in their area, where they live and encourage their children in folk singing.
We realize that our children have talent in singing, especially in Vietnam folk songs, so we create the best conditions for them and arrange time to take them to Vietnam folk singing clubs for learning.
Today, very few students understand and sing folk songs. Therefore, talents in folk singing like Công Anh and Công Minh at such young age and the love for Giặm of Lan's young family is very encouraging and should be replicated in order to preserve, promote, spread and raise awareness about the melody of Nghệ Tĩnh folk songs. This is to help discover and nurture folk singing talents for the homeland and the country.
The last news has ended our bulletin today. Thank you for your watching and see you next time.